This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, nerds. I'm Mark Weber, and you're listening to A Graphic Conversation, the bi-weekly podcast where we read, discuss, and review the best, and hopefully not the worst, graphic novels. I'm joined, as I always am, by my good friend and fellow man-child, Ricky Widmer.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And for this episode of A Graphic Conversation, we went ahead and read The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 1. And it was a fun one for sure. It was interesting.
I liked it.
What we said before on last episode, when we read Age of Ultron, of course, for the movie, we remember the movie for this one. And I actually don't really remember that much of the movie, but we wanted to get a better sense of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It was kind of similar to the movie. After thinking back to the movie, because I really liked the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I just remember Sean Connery, really, and I like Sean Connery.
He fit the Alan Quartermain kind of image, but I can see some of these scenes in this graphic novel. I'm like, oh, okay, this is where they got that.
This
from.
Kind of, you kind of get the sense of it. And then there's some other things that they're like, oh, yes,
however,
no way that was going to make it into a movie.
And they did add stuff, like in the movie. The whole time I'm thinking, okay, when's Dorian Gray gonna pop up? Because Dorian Gray was in it, Tom Sawyer was in it. I'm waiting for them to pop up, and they never did.
Maybe in Volume 2.
Maybe no, I'm trying, but they popped in the movie, so that's when they kind of did things weird. Also, the Invisible Man's name was different. In this, it was, I want to say, Gilbert. Henry something?
No, Griffin was his last name.
Griffin.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, it was Rodney Skinner.
Spoiler alert, guys. Different names.
Yeah, different names.
But speaking of spoiler alert, the way this show works, maybe you haven't ever listened to us before, we're going to talk about this, but for now, we're going to do a spoiler-free section. It's fairly short, but we'll tell you a little bit about the book. Then we will enter spoiler mode. Don't worry, we will warn you in case you want to pause it, you want to read this for yourself. That's awesome. But if you don't, or you already have read it, that's awesome. You can join in. I'm at the Mark Weber. Ricky is at Ricky Widmer. And of course, at Most Valuable Pod as well for the Most Valuable Podcast Network. Let me tell you a little bit of something about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, though, just in case you're thinking, I have no idea what this is, but I love Sean Connery. So, London, 1898. The Victorian era draws to a close and the 20th century approaches. It is a time of great change and an age of stagnation. A period of chaste order and ignoble chaos. It is an era in need of champions. And in this amazingly imaginative tale, literacy figures from throughout time and various bodies of work are brought together to face any and all threats to Britain. And there's some fun. I think if you are a literary person, this is obviously this is your jam right here.
Because it's kind of collecting a bunch of people, like, for example, Jekyll and Hyde. From the movie, they added Dorian Gray, he's in his own book. Tom Sawyer from the movie was in his own book. I want to say, doesn't Captain Nemo have his own set of stories?
Yeah. I mean, and you even have Ishmael, of course, is in this as well. You have Sherlock Holmes.
A little bit.
Kind
mentioned.
I mean,
Moriarty more.
He shows up a little, for a page.
But they reference him.
He's actually there for a page, too.
They keep referencing. Early on when they kept saying, oh, the detective, I was like, are they talking about Sherlock? Are they talking about Sherlock? And they keep saying, oh, he thinks he's the great detective. And I was like, are they talking about Sherlock? And then I saw him and I'm like, is that Sherlock?
Yeah.
And then it's like Professor Moriarty, and I'm like, that's Sherlock.
It's England. They're all about that. Or Britain, I guess. I don't know. I personally, I should know the difference, but I never really know when to call it England, when to call it Britain, when to call it the UK.
I don't know.
People get upset. So just yell at me on Twitter.
Apologies.
Whatever, at the Mark Weber.
Hashtag apologies.
Dub them E's. So, yeah, okay, Ricky. I started to answer this question already, but I think literary people are going to really love this.
Oh, yeah, book lovers.
It's very witty. It's very kind of satirical, too.
Yeah.
But as we talked before
fits
this,
the Alan Moore mold a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of on the funny side of Alan Moore.
yeah, the better end of the Alan Moore spectrum.
I would say not From Hell Alan Moore. More
Yeah, we
of
don't like that one.
More of Watchmen Alan Moore.
And for this, we had this discussion before. This is not for anyone young. This is a mature book.
No, this is mature.
Yeah, this
There's
is
some
a mature book.
mature themes in this graphic novel.
And some things that will probably just go over kids' heads, but there's plenty in it that you just do not want.
This podcast is rated M for mature.
Aren't they all? Really? I'm pretty sure they all are. Yeah. So, yeah. What were your kind of expectations coming in? Because this one's interesting because we had the movie from before.
You know what? This was one where usually, like, I'm trying to think. There were some of them that we read that when we read things for a movie, like I think Age of Ultron was one of them. Reading that one for the movie ruined it because it was totally different than
Winter Soldier, I think, was the best example for that.
Yeah.
You hated, well, you didn't hate, but you were disappointed by Winter Soldier.
because the movie was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the graphic I liked what the graphic novel did. I didn't like what the movie did. I think they should have kept to the story where, as this one, I came in, I'm like, okay, what should I expect? Kind of like a clean slate. And as I read it, I saw like, oh, that's where they got that from.
Yeah.
That's where they got this from. And this is a mini spoiler. I kind of already referenced it, but I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, okay, when's Tom Sawyer going to come in? Spoiler alert, Tom Sawyer never came in.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I thought you were going to mention a different character and I was going to yell at you for spoiling it, so I'm glad you didn't.
Well, there's only one other character I'd mention.
Well, no. It doesn't matter.
I'd
It's
say
not
Dorian
worth it.
Gray.
That's
didn't show
not
up
what I'm
either.
saying either.
Yeah.
A person who was actually in the book, and I was like, don't spoil that, Ricky. Don't do it.
No, these are guys.
That was a cool.
These are guys that weren't in.
That was a cool twist. But yeah, I definitely, for me, my expectations. I actually don't really remember that much from the movie. I remember Sean Connery, and that's about it.
Mhm.
And I remember the nautical nod. I remember that because that was cool. I was young when I saw this, so it was like that giant ship
The
or
white
whatever.
ship. They changed the ship in the movie. It didn't have the octopus on it.
But it was
I
still,
don't think.
I don't.
I know it wasn't
remember.
orange. I know it was white.
I wish it was orange. That'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, this was definitely fun. I kind of do.
Also, Nemo was kind of more of a dick in this than the movie.
I think he was a little guarded
and not
kind of.
trusting, not as trusting.
But yeah, I would recommend reading this. It's not the best thing in the world, but without giving scores, of course, not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend people go ahead and read this. It was enjoyable. Anything else that you think we need to get into before we jump into spoiler mode?
Let's talk about the art a little bit.
Okay.
It's kind of, to me, like I said, even though it's kind of like a funnier Alan Moore, like you said, witty's a good word.
Yeah.
It still has that kind of from hell kind of art to it without making it totally from hell.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely.
It's a little gritty, but it has the wit to counteract it.
And it fits very much for this story, a Victorian England, so I guess industrial England story. And it had a lot of really cool, like, that is not a real thing. Like, you see all these, like, industrial steam-powered things, and you're like, no, that's not real. Calm down. Also, really enjoy this. Not really. This isn't spoiler mode. I just really enjoy their emphasis on aerial things are awesome.
Yeah.
If it's in the air, it's fantastic.
Oh, it's aerial. It's gonna end the world.
Yeah,
end the world. Oh, air attack, end the world. And the one thing I want to go off of the art is just the character of Jekyll and Hyde. Kind of the spin they took with Hyde, because in the movie it was kind of like he was still human.
Yeah.
He was just like, his skin stayed white, and you could tell he was a human. He just kind of like hulked out without getting green.
Yeah.
Where in this one, he's
a
completely
beast.
changed, and he looks like an ape. Like a killer ape, brown all over. Edward Hyde's gonna kill people.
For sure. For sure. So with that being said, we are about to enter spoiler mode. If you do want to read the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I think we both would encourage you to do so.
Oh, totally.
Hit the pause button. We will be here when you get back. It's actually really cheap on Kindle.
It was like $4 for me.
Yeah, so go ahead and get that. If you don't care, or maybe you've already read it, just stick with us. We'll be here, and we're going to enter the spoiler zone here. Once again, at Ricky Widmer, at the Mark Weber, at Most Valuable Pod. Let us know your opinions on everything that we talk about. But now, spoiler mode. Congrats, we're here to enter in. Just real quick. I mean, it does start off with. I'll ask you this off the beginning. Do you trust this guy? I forgot his name, but the guy who's the boss, not the boss, but the kind of messenger man, the guy who's talking about Mr. M.
No.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, I don't.
You know, there's something wrong. Like, you know, this guy.
He just looks like a guy that shouldn't be trusted.
For sure. Yeah, he's going to betray you at any moment.
And early on, I didn't really know who to trust, her or him. And I'm thinking, who's who right now? And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm like, are they going to get Quartermain in to try to get him on this? Kind of like, and I'm thinking the movie.
Yeah.
Because at first they go to, in the movie, they go to Africa to get Quartermain. And the one thing that I actually like, and this is kind of jumping a little bit ahead, but I want to mention it, where in the movie, if you're sitting there going, Ricky, I haven't seen it. Well, you're in spoiler mode, so if you haven't seen the movie and want to watch it, hit pause. We'll be here waiting. They go to Africa. I think it's South Africa to find him, and he's a hunter, and he's one of those things where the locals know who he is, but he's not sick or anything. Where in the graphic novel, he's sick, because he's hopped up on opium.
Yeah, he needs that opium.
Yeah.
That sweet, sweet opium.
Yeah, he's hopped up on opium. And I was like, at first I'm like, okay, is she going to get him and they're going to make the league? I'm like, who's the good guy here? That I didn't get a distinct vibe of who's good, who's bad right off the bat.
Yeah, I definitely didn't trust it. I kind of right away was like, yeah, I'm good with her. She's fine. But they do go to somewhere in the Middle East. Was it
Cairo?
Oh, okay. So they go to Egypt in that case. They go to Egypt and find him, save him. And I love that they do this right away. I guess I shouldn't say I love this, but they talk about her. This is overarching theme throughout this, which really fits this time in the industrial period of like everybody is uncomfortable with her strength as a woman. Like they're not okay with the fact that she's in control. She's in charge.
Like you said, I'm not gonna say I like this, but already like within the first couple slides, maybe first couple pages, they mention, and I'm gonna quote here, where he's talking to her about the divorce, and he mentions there's this guy that we don't trust. He's like ravaged by a foreigner and all that, quite against your will. Of course, but then people do talk so, don't they? And it's kind of like one of those things.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she goes to Cairo, she gets and finds Quartermain. What's the first thing that happens? 2 guys try to rape her.
Yeah, it's immediate.
Like we said, this podcast is rated M for mature.
Graphic novels rated M for mature. Yeah, it was interesting. But they get out okay. They're fine. And then Quartermain gets locked up. I do like that they bring people back. And this, of course, when you get your introduction to Nemo and his giant nautical ship.
The nautical.
With its beautiful tentacles. But yeah, they always bring the people back and then they do something with them. They have to do something with them. For him, it's detox, essentially. Like he's detoxing out cold turkey, basically. Just being locked in a room and, all right, well, we'll see you when you're ready.
And I will say, when the nautical shows up, because I know who it is. I've seen the movie. Usually people say that in reverse. Oh, I know who it is. I've read the comics, but in this case, it was a movie. I got giddy because I'm like, oh, that's Captain Nemo.
You're excited.
That's Captain Nemo. He was one of my favorite characters in the movie.
I think Captain Nemo's character throughout this, though, I mean, I would have liked more out of him. He definitely played an important role and stuff.
How mad he got when he had to play the servant.
Yeah,
and he's like, why do I have to play the servant? And Quartermain's like, come on, dude, I gotta play her husband. Do you think I like this any more than
And
you
they have
do?
this whole thing with her too, where like they just are not about her. Like they do not like her. Although Quartermain maybe does like her quite a bit.
A little bit.
But yeah, he does get to sneak in that little smoochy at one point. But
When the I'm gonna die kiss.
if I don't kiss this woman, they would have been perfectly fine. They overreacted to that old lady. They could have taken her out. No problem. What is the Mark solution, Ricky? Hashtag Mark solution. Punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Boom.
I will say, though, and this is getting a little bit ahead, I'm just going to say this. We'll get to it later. I knew Skinner was going to do, not Skinner, Griffin was going to do what he did. Oh, I thought you guys were just going to stay here while I take the balloon.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
That is pretty far.
That's pretty far, but
really
that's what
far.
that made me think of.
So, okay, so we got Quartermain.
And he's on Nemo's ship.
Next, we have to go get Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, when they're talking about this, leading it up, I don't know about. I'm going to ask you this because you haven't seen the movie. I knew what was
I saw
coming.
the movie. I just don't remember it very well.
You don't remember. I remember it well. Did you know right away that they were going? Did you see this?
That it was Jekyll and Hyde?
Jekyll and Hyde.
I did. I thought at first, I knew it wasn't that they were referencing Jack the Ripper, obviously. Which is funny because, Alan Moore from Hell. But
they do mention Whitechapel, though.
They do. But at first, they mentioned the killing of prostitutes. I'm like, hey, this is very familiar. But then when they talk about the ape-like man, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Or the ape-like creature. Obviously, this is Jekyll and Hyde. So, I mean, it wasn't... when you know literary figures, you know that they're going to show up at some point. But yeah, you knew what you were expecting. And then especially when they're like, she walked away with a really skinny man. And like, no, she did not.
Yep. The whole time I'm like, oh, they're going after Jekyll and Hyde because I'm thinking of the movie, and the movie's a little different. It's kind of the same scene, except all I can remember is the scene where you actually see Hyde running across the rooftops, and Quartermain actually has to shoot him down with the elephant gun. Oh.
Instead of just shooting his ear off.
Yeah, like he did in the book.
Yeah. Interesting thing. And this kind of starts off, well, I don't know. I think it already started from the very beginning. This book is obsessed with sex, which is appropriate for the time.
Moore is obsessed with sex.
Well, he did write a character with a giant blue penis.
Watchmen.
You can never forget the giant blue penis. But anyways, just flowing in the wind.
Yeah.
This book, I mean, the time and this time in history is kind of obsessed with sex too. But you have the moment you're talking about her sexuality, her being divorced. She almost gets raped. We go here. She has to act as a prostitute. The guy's killing prostitutes. We go over to the Invisible Man. What's he doing? Having sex with schoolgirls.
We'll get there.
It's all it's so sexually obsessed.
Oh yeah,
it's insane. But to talk the last little closing thing on Jekyll and Hyde, they're all surprised of, oh my God, he's huge. What happened here? He turned into an ape. Shoot him, poison him. At first, I feel the thing about the poison I thought was funny because I thought he was just giving him alcohol at first, and I'm like, what's that gonna do? He's just gonna he's just gonna be drunk now. He's gonna fall somewhere. But yeah. So then they bring him back. Well, of course, what do they have to do? Put him in some room, try and interview him, try and talk to him as Jekyll.
Oh, that was one of the funniest scenes when he's just screaming, and it's why would I undo these so I can rip your face off? Well, why would I do that?
Yeah.
No.
He's like, I know this is a bad idea. So they gotta go. Of course, now they hear about some, what is it? The Immaculate Conceptions happening at this school in Edmonton, and they're gonna go check it out. And it they're like, this is the next guy you're looking for. So they go there. They have to as you say, they have the manservant, which I love the term manservant. I just find it hilarious.
Captain Nemo,
the manservant. I love that term. And then Quartermain and Murray are husband and wife. So they're going out into the school with this woman who right away when you meet this woman, you're like,
I don't like her.
You're like, this is not good. This woman is not good at all.
And I thought that something was going. This one kind of caught me off guard. I didn't know it was going to be the Invisible Man, and I'm like, something's going on where it's not an Immaculate Conception. She knows what's going on.
Well, you kind of get the impression at first, well, 'cause this is obviously like a brothel, basically, essentially. And you're like, is she just like selling her students to people?
Oh, like the scene where it's like the one teacher's just spanking the student. I'm like, okay, now.
And they're like, yeah, you never know what she's gonna do next.
Yeah,
like she is part of the pain is education or whatever.
Yeah,
and they also had when they leave, and the student who is pregnant, is just like, oh, it's okay. I'll keep a positive outlook anyways, and like cuddles up to the like headmaster, mistress, whatever. And it's just like, this school is weird. This school gives me the creeps.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Not to mention that, as Ricky points out, the school is shaped like a giant penis and hand.
It is.
And
Am I wrong?
No,
Look at it.
You're right.
Looks like the head of a penis.
It is.
And I hate to say that, but it does. Yet again, I'm saying it again. This podcast is rated M for mature. Hashtag M for mature.
Which I love how that's like, we're using like the video game term, but we should be saying like I don't know,
NC-17.
Yeah, that's movies. I don't really know what the one for books would be. It's not AO though. We're not adult only. Not quite. We're not quite getting that far.
M mature.
Yeah, but
it's mature.
That's not. I don't think that's for books.
I'm gonna look it up. I'll look
Google
it up. I'll Google it. You keep.
So we have this. We have the penis. We have the naked bodies of women all over this brothel, and so much so Ricky. I'm amazed Ricky missed this part. But above, they go into a bedroom, or they're given a bedroom because they're gonna stay, enjoy, whatever, and they have a naked woman. Which is, you can see the vagina right
talking
there.
About the statue?
Yeah.
Wasn't big enough.
It's just right. It's not. It was a giant statue, a giant boobs and a vagina. I don't know how it's not big enough for you to notice, Ricky. But yeah, it's there. Like the school's so obsessed. But I love, they're just chilling. Like, all right, what are we gonna do? And all of a sudden they hear like moaning. And like, all right, this is when they first started moaning. I was like, is he really raping Murray? Like,
I was like, I guess
she's gonna get raped almost raped a second time, and then they referenced a third time. Like I'm like, this is too much. That honestly would have made me think about putting the book down. But no, just yet another random schoolgirl, and everyone is gathered around to watch her get impregnated by the Holy Spirit. Which I find interesting. I want to say this one, and I don't know, but to the ladies in our audience, does anybody really think that like getting impregnated by God feels like an actual penis having sex with you?
Don't know. I'm a
guy. That would be a little weird. I feel like that wouldn't be I feel like that would not be God's way. God would just be like, "And you're pregnant now." We're not talking about Zeus here coming down and be like, "I'm gonna fuck all these chicks." All right. All of you are going to have half babies. Like, that's not what we're doing, I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. There's only one way to find out, though. Zeus, come on down.
Use the way back?
The way back? Sure. I was going to invite Zeus to come on down. I mean, why not? But no.
For those of you, that's a Peanut and Sherman.
It is.
That's that reference. That makes me feel old.
No, you are old.
Way back.
So anyways, yeah, they go, and of course, Murray, the clever lady that she is, throws paint on him. And they're like, "Oh, you're a person."
Just like in the movie, but they throw the white paint on him. And then when the headmaster comes, "What's this? Nothing to see here. We're just taking this guy away."
We're just taking him. Oh, by the way, we weren't here for a tour. We're just taking him.
Yeah, we were here for this guy. This guy.
The rapist. Although I will say I know they mentioned he's working for them to get a pardon, but they're just like, "Hey, this guy raped 3 chicks. We stopped him from raping a 4th chick. Welcome to the team, bro. You're in now." Like, is this a fraternity or what's
Murray
going on?
Mention that too?
I don't remember her mentioning it so much, but they were like, actually, you know what? I think she did mention it at one point, but they were just like, "Hey, we watched you do some real shitty stuff. And you also impregnated 3 chicks." Like, but no, you know, that's fine. Welcome to the team. Like, we're fine with you. But Ricky, I know you're looking this up right now, but this leads me to a question I have to ask. And it's an important question.
Before you say that, the quote that best describes the Invisible Man, "The only empire I'm interested in is my own. The empire of the Invisible Man, the first."
Exactly. So this is an important question here. You tomorrow wake up with the power of invisibility.
So no one can see me.
No one can see you. What are you gonna do with that power?
I walk around naked. Don't have to put
As
on
the Invisible
clothes
Man
anymore.
does. Mm-hmm.
I don't have to put on clothes anymore.
And you just want to be naked all the time?
I don't think I would do anything like. I don't know. I mean, the best part is I wouldn't have to wear clothes anymore.
Yeah.
I would just be able to walk around. However, no one would see me, so it'd kind of be a lonely life unless I'm actually talking. You know what I would really do? I'd probably sneak into someone's house that I don't like and act like I'm a haunted spirit. Like
You're gonna be the ghost.
Like you're just like standing there
Angry
cooking
ghost.
dinner. Hey, Mark, what was that? And then you like don't hear anything. Then again, how's it going, Mark? Whoa, what was that? What was that? Okay, I heard something, but you never see me.
Mm-hmm.
I would just play. I'd be the prankster ghost.
I can see it.
I'd be the prankster. What would you do if
I have a completely different.
if you woke up tomorrow, you're invisible?
I have a completely different idea here. My first thing that comes in your head. Of course, the first thing that comes in your head, we all got to admit, you're thinking, well, what do I want to do? There's that hot chick I work with. Do I want to see her naked? Like, I can do things with that. But no, that's not what you do. What you do is you
fight
think
crime.
No, screw that. And I'm going the complete opposite direction of that, actually. You think, how can I profit off of this? That's what your first thought is. And then, of course, you could think, what do I do? Do I go rob a bank? I can walk right in. But they're going to see the money come out.
Yes.
Tough, right? So you're thinking, okay, how can I make money? Can I steal stuff? I could easily walk in people's house. But once again, people are going to see the stuff come out. What do? This is what you do. Work with the paparazzi. You go, you find every celebrity's dirty secrets. You find out who's cheating on who. You get the picture. I don't know how you'll really get the picture, but you find a way to get a picture of somebody's newly born baby. You could have had the first picture of Northwest. Like, you could have done that.
You take Kanye's phone. You say to the paparazzi, what's your phone number? You get the phone number. Kanye leaves his phone somewhere. You take a picture. You send it to the paparazzi.
You could do.
Once it's sent, it's sent. I don't care if Kanye sees it.
You gotta make sure you get that money, though. Like, because the paparazzi, they will pay. Like, it's amazing.
Or send it to your phone.
Sure, you could do that. It's amazing how much money they will pay for a picture of a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want that picture fresh out of the womb? I got you. I will be in that room with that baby as it is being born. Like, you could get
It'd be a little hard. There'd be a lot of people there.
You're invisible. What do you care?
Yeah, but when you actually hold the camera up to take
They'll
the
be
picture,
distracted. They're all looking at, Kim Kardashian's vagina.
I don't know. I feel like the floating camera in the corner of the room is a little bit more like
I think it'll be fine.
awe-shocking than a baby being born. But yet I have no kids, so that's where that's coming from.
I think people are really into the children thing.
Lately, looking at my Facebook, a lot of people are.
We're at that age. Or you set the hidden camera in there prior, and you wait.
You got to. No one's going to see you do it.
Exactly, and then you can sneak it out later. But it's just, this is me, good old capitalist here. I'm thinking, how can I make money off of this?
How can I profit off of it? Where Ricky's thinking, either I'm going to play pranks, or what's the good I can do from this?
Now I'm like, nope, money. Cash money. Lots of it.
But what are you going to spend it on? You're invisible.
I'll figure something out. I just want money. Maybe I will pay away. You know what? No, I'll give that money to someone else who I know will buy real cool things, and I'll just watch them. Like, I want you to buy this video game.
It's so creepy.
$60 just showed up, and I'm just gonna be like, all right,
that is so creepy.
Let's watch you play Batman Arkham Knight then.
That is so creepy.
I can't play it. Actually, I could play it myself, but it's gonna be weird
when he's not home.
Where did this save file come from? Who's this? Who made these decisions?
You make a save file called Invisible.
Invisible Man. Like, they're really freaking out. Oh, that would be. I like that.
What's going on here?
I think that's what I look forward to the most. Yeah, that's the tough part. Or, I mean, I guess you could just be throwing it off of buildings. But then people will probably kill them. They'll probably like kill each other to get that money.
Mark makes it rain off of the Sears Tower.
I totally would. But yeah, okay.
But don't slip because no one will see you fall.
Yeah. And they do something like that too when they talk about, like, when they get later on in the book, they talk about if we all die, no one's gonna mourn your grave to the Invisible Man, and you're like, oh, that's really sad
because no one's gonna know he died.
Know he was there. There's one person who will know he's. That's hard to say. There's one person that will know he's there.
The guy that recruited him?
No, Hyde. Hyde knew he was there. He can see him. He can see the heat signature.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was weird when I saw that. I forgot about that.
And I was waiting for it to pay off, but it's not paying off yet. Probably in the next issue. But where he's like, don't you remember? I can't see you, as he's looking directly at him. Like, I don't know where you are. You have to point. You have to tell me where you want me to go. Things like that. And I just kept waiting. I'm like,
so does that mean when he's
at
Edward Hyde, he can, like, how does that, how? How can he see heat signatures?
Or no, I guess when he's Jekyll. When he's Jekyll. Whichever one, he's the giant monster.
Yeah, Hyde.
Yeah, Hyde. So Heckle.
That was Edward Hyde.
So when he's Hyde, not monster, he's not going to see him. But when he's Jekyll, he sees the heat signature for some reason. No, when he's
Hyde. It's Dr. Jekyll normal, Mr.
That's what I said.
Hyde.
Yeah, that's what I said at first. Whichever way it goes.
Dr. Jekyll normal, Mr. Hyde monster.
So Hyde, because I think I said it wrong both times. Hyde is when he can see the heat signatures. So he's got one friend. He just needs Jekyll to be real pissed off or upset or stressed out, so that way his friend can come back out.
See, I really want to know how that works then. How is Hyde able to see heat signatures when he's Mr. Hyde?
He's a monster, I guess. I guess that's just how it works. I don't know. There probably is no good explanation for it other than he's just a monster.
They've got to explain it, though. You know what I mean?
He's a monster. I hope that literally it comes up one time and his explanation is, I don't know, I'm a monster.
I'd be totally upset if that happened.
That would be a great explanation. But okay, so we got everybody. We got the whole team together. We find out what their mission is. They have to find this flying device, which lets whatever fly. And that's when the whole aerial thing comes in. They're like, oh my God, aerial attack. Yeah, the Cavorite. That's what his name is, or whatever.
Kind of like Favorite, but with a C.
You're my favorite. Not Ricky, all of you guys listening.
Yeah, I got it. I had it. I got it.
But so they want to find this, and this is where it gets like, this is so by the time where they get super racist about it, and they're talking about the Chinamen and stuff like that, and how they have to find the devil doctor, Dr. Devil, whatever his name was. They gave him a little code name.
The guy that writes on people with like
acid. Yeah, with acid. Yeah. And we're not talking about the drug.
No, we're talking about actual acid.
Like, yeah, so
like hydrochloric acid.
Yeah, that's the torture. And he was I expected kind of like more dastardly things out of him, but it was just kind of like he's a horrible person, and we don't really
was expecting more character development from him early on. Well, about him early on.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess you shouldn't be surprised of the way the events came out, but you were kind of like, hey, they're finishing this mission really, really fast. This is weird. The whole thing they find out that he is using an underground area to build this giant aerial weapon, this warship, and then they have to go. Basically, they go to this poorhouse, which is above it, kind of using it as a cover. They sneak over underground to the thing. They kill a guy. They go in the place, and they basically just flood it. It happens really, really fast. Of course, they take the Cavorite. They take the Cavorite out to steal it, and they have that cool moment where they're like, well, let's hope this thing works. Our only escape is to use it to fly out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did that so fast, and you're like, well, I guess the big bad's dead already. Although we find out later he's not necessarily dead.
Well, that's what I like, and I was like, really? That's the end of the story?
Yeah.
Nope, it's not.
No, they continue on, because that's when we had the moment where they're like, okay, Mr. M's going to be happy. Bye. See ya. And they're like, cool. Well, we got our money. Then we go on to Mr. M, who we find out, of course, is Moriarty. James Moriarty, to be specific. And this is when you have your first sure, okay, we're connected to Holmes, Sherlock Holmes. Where we have that flashback where Holmes and Moriarty are there. Holmes basically defeats Moriarty and then escapes, but that's when his lackey, I don't remember the guy's name, but his lackey comes up and he's like, oh, I'll help you. I'll go kill the guy. And he says, bury him, crush him with boulders, end his existence. And unfortunately, for all you Sherlock fans out there, all you Sherlockians, as I know they like to call themselves.
Moran,
there you go. Over on our Tumblr. You guys, I know you're upset. It's okay. But yeah, Sherlock's dead.
He's dead. Gone.
But this is when Nemo, perfection here, the smart man that he is, he sent the Invisible Man to spy on them and to listen, and did so successfully.
It's great.
He figured it out.
It's a great plan.
He comes back. Murray's upset because she's supposed to be the leader.
The best part about that, too, is you go through the entire scene. M's talking to the guy we don't trust. And then once they leave, you just hear, and it's been his famous line throughout the whole thing. The Invisible Man's just,
yeah, he's so excited.
He just does that little laugh.
He loves that he's invisible. He really does.
Just,
So they figure out what's up, and they're like, all right, well, we're going to have to stop him. He's going to have this huge aerial bombardment on, of course, the Chinamen.
And then right after that, though, comes my favorite part.
Uh-huh.
The Invisible Man leaves the room, walks down the stairs, kills a cop.
Yes.
Puts on his clothes, walks through like a crowd of people. When he gets back to the ship, they're like yelling, how did you do that? Why? They know that you're there. He goes, what? I got cold.
He's naked.
What? I got cold.
He's naked. That's the thing. Like, it would be cold, especially in London and stuff like that. It gets cold. And it's rainy. He's constantly wet and cold. Not fun. Imagine the shrinkage.
He's like, I got cold. So I put on something that would warm me up.
So they go on. They find an air balloon. Like, this is not going to work out.
No, Nemo had an air balloon.
Yeah, he had an air balloon. And like, this is not going to go well. He doesn't have very many weapons, although he does have awesome harpoon machine guns.
Mm-hmm. Those are great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And this was another thing where, too, like, this whole thing, I expected this to go on a little longer. They basically got there, killed a bunch of people, and it was Murray and Quartermain who were just like, okay, well, see ya. We're going to get the big guy. They go up. They have their little confrontation that was really quick. And then basically that's it. They just kill him.
We got to escape.
Yeah.
You know what before that really made me laugh?
Mm-hmm.
It's the panel where like and Alan Moore, I don't know if he did this on purpose to kind of fit with whenever you're talking about English people or British people, usually the stereotype is that they have like messed up teeth.
They got bad teeth.
All of them look like that. And everyone looks in shock except the one guy it says blind. He just kind of has a little bit of a straight face, and it's like, because you can't see it.
He doesn't care. You can't see it. And he's not Daredevil. He doesn't see a world on fire.
However, his eyes are still looking up.
Well, you know.
If he's blind, how would he know something's up there?
World on Fire.
Okay, Daredevil.
Yeah. Go watch it on Netflix, guys. I'm serious. It's great.
Go check out
I keep talking about it.
Man Without Fear.
Yep. 2 episodes back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they escape, and that's where it's fun, too, where they're like, what happened to Griffin, the Invisible Man? I'm like, I don't know, who cares? And they get back as they see the
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, the knife cutting.
Oh, I thought you guys were going to stay a while. Well, I was just going to take the balloon.
Okay, glad you guys are back. And yeah, and of course then with Hyde, not Jekyll, but this time Hyde, also on there, they did not account for his weight, and they crash down. But fortunately, they crash into the water, and the nautical uses its nifty little tentacles to grab all of them. You were just waiting for that, weren't you? The little squid tentacles to do something at some point. They do that. They're like, okay, cool, this is good. They get put on retainer, get a lot of money, and life is good.
Last question I have for you before we get to the most important part.
Oh, yeah.
Last slide.
Uh-huh.
They're talking all about, yay, great job. We got a new boss now. He's got to put on some weight. And then the last thing is you just see, I'm sure something will turn up. Huge meteorites coming from the sky. What are we headed up for in Volume 2, do you think?
I really don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be some like alien type of thing, if there's supposed to be some minerals or artifacts. I honestly have no idea. That's usually when we do these things, you're like, okay, I can kind of see where we're going with this. Or we have, this is 2 in a row now, actually, where we have, because of Age of Ultron ended the same way, where you just have no idea.
Here's the one thing I think, where obviously the meteorite is something, and that's going to be what Volume 2 is about. But I saw this at the end, and I go, cool. This was a great origin story to where you could kind of go anywhere from this.
Definitely.
Where it's like, is Volume 2 going to be about the meteorites? Is this going to be something you see, but it doesn't take effect until like Like you see it in TV shows and cartoons where it's like, oh, it took effect now, but we don't see it until like volume 5.
Yeah.
Where you can go anywhere because they leave it up. I'm sure something will turn up.
Yeah. I mean, they might wait on it. They easily could. So it'll be it's interesting to see. Just on the next part of that though, I mean, you have that page and the next page over, they have everybody's hands together. I love that image because of how tiny Miss Murray's hands are.
Compared to everybody else.
Everybody has enormous hands, especially Hyde.
Yeah.
And then she has little baby hands. Little baby hands. It's so tiny.
He almost crushed her hand too. Hyde, I'm talking about.
He was going to crush her multiple times, yeah.
And then he just let her go.
Because she, once again, she's a tough one. She's a very strong... she actually is a very good female character. Because she's just like... she is very... maybe a little bit to a fault of like, hey, I'm independent, I can handle this. But she handles herself extremely well.
She's strong-willed.
Yeah.
She's strong-willed, and I like that.
And it definitely is good. So, Ricky, your favorite part, what are you going to give it? What's your score?
4 out of 5. I thought this was a solid read. It wasn't one of those ones where it's like anything like extra. It wasn't extraordinary by any means, if you like my pun there, but it was still a good read. It was a solid read. I was thinking maybe 3.5, but I'm like, you know what? I can knock this up to a 4. Even if you've seen the movie, it's not going to ruin this for you. You will have a good time. What are you giving it, Mark?
For me, I have to give it a 3. Solid 3. For somewhat similar reasons, because it just, to me, it was just very, very average. I never had a moment where I was like, this is awesome.
However,
never had a moment where that was
the one
bad.
reason why me and you may have different like thoughts like that, where I had some where like, oh, this is awesome, because I remembered the movie more than you did. I think that may play into it a little bit.
It could have. And I think coming into it, too, because in the first couple of books, I was like, this is kind of slow. And then it picked up a little bit. And it never got super awesome, but it definitely took a little bit to pick up. So I think that kind of had me in the mind frame of just like, okay, this is fine. It's okay. Nothing special. So that's why I got to give it a 3. Anything that we missed? Last minute?
I would say anything.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering, what are we going to check out and what are we going to read in 2 weeks? Well, 2 things. You can check our schedule on mostvaluablepodcasts.com. We got it all posted up there. We got some stuff in advance, too, for you guys, so you can get prepared for those of you who like to be prepared.
And on top of that, we have little clickable links. So let's say for like the next one, you're like, well, Ricky, Mark, where can I get it? If you want to get it and read it, we gave you the Amazon link.
Yeah, we
so
put Amazon links. Of course, if you prefer Comixology or you want to actually go to a store and deal with a human being, feel free and do that.
A lot of people like buying stuff on the internet, so that's why we gave it to you.
Oh, it's just easy, too. So what we're going to be reading next time, which I like that you gave the Amazon link, because since I bought this on Amazon originally, it tells me when I purchased it, which, by the way, April 15th, 2013, almost exactly 2 years ago, a little bit more. But anyways, Invincible, the Ultimate Collection, Volume 1. And the Ultimate Collection is great because it has the entire first arc. So that's why we picked this one. I think it's 13 issues. Let me tell you a little bit of something about Invincible. Get in on the ground floor. This massive hardcover collects the first 13 issues of Robert Kirkman's Eisner-nominated superhero, along with all the extras from the first 3 trade paperback volumes, and even more on top of that. Invincible, the Ultimate Collection Volume 1 is a can't miss for anyone who's wanting to start reading Invincible, but needs an easier way to start from the beginning. I don't like that description, so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about
I'm going to throw this
well.
in there. If you're sitting there going, Ricky, that name sounds familiar, but I don't know who that is. Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead, that's who that is.
That's where you know him from. And if you know anything about that, he's really good at creating worlds. So this is what I'll say about Invincible, because I didn't like that description for those of you who might not know it.
You've read this before, take it away.
So Invincible is exactly this. It's a boy who learns he has superpowers. His dad is the strongest superhero on all of Earth. And much like Marvel, there are superheroes all over the universe. You're going to be dealing with all of that as Robert Kirkman builds his own continuum, his own universe, his own continuity. He does this all on his own with all his own superheroes. And there's plenty of twists. There's plenty of awesome moments. It's got the high school kid becoming the superhero. Don't we all love that? I bet we do.
It seems like the usual.
It's the way to go for sure. But yeah, I will say this, just as a little preview for everybody. Invincible is one of my favorite superhero stories. So I think you guys are all going to love it. I hope you do, and I hope you join us in 2 weeks when we read Invincible, the Ultimate Collection, Volume 1. But until then, keep reading your comics, keep reading your graphic novels. Have a great one. Check us out on mostvaluablepodcasts.com, at mostvaluablepod. I'm at the Mark Weber, dub them E's. Ricky is at Ricky Widmer. We will see you guys in 2 weeks when we read Invincible, the Ultimate Collection, Volume 1.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast.